Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So the Steelers, they claim wide receiver Adam Thielen off waivers. Two-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Adam Thielen was claimed off waivers by Steelers per source. Thielen, 35, wanted one more shot at a Super Bowl in his final season and now lands with longtime NFC North rival Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I don't know about that Super Bowl run, but I guess we always have a chance. And hopefully Adam Thielen still has something left in the tank. He's been a very productive receiver for a very long time. Too bad the Steelers couldn't got him, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. But hey, we'll take all the help we can get. During last year's trade deadline, the Steelers reportedly had interest in trading for Thielen, who was then a member of the Carolina Panthers. No trade materialized, and Pittsburgh acquired the New York Jets' Mike Williams instead. Pittsburgh Steelers are also waiving cornerback Darius Slay. Am I surprised? A little bit, not really. Steelers and cornerback Darius Slay have mutually agreed to part ways. Slay's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and Robert Bailey told ESPN Slay is interested in continuing to play and will consider signing with other teams, but his time in Pittsburgh has come to an end. Well, I definitely think Asante Samuel Jr. is definitely an upgrade from Darius Slay. Steelers signed him in March to a 1-year, $10 million contract that was fully guaranteed. Wow, man, that's armed robbery right there. $10 million guaranteed with that production. Woo! Steelers got the short end of the stick on that one. Mark Capoli believes Mike Tomlin damn close to losing the Steelers locker room if he hasn't already. I mean, that's the speculation. We'll never really know because none of us are in there, but it sure looks that way on the field. I was watching Brian Baldinger today breaking down tape of the Steelers defense, and there's this one play where Y.A. Black, he shoots to his right, and he's like out 2 or 3 yards off to his right, and I'm almost positive it was Keanu Benton to his left, and Keanu Benton gets totally turned in the opposite direction. So you have Y.A. Black going this way, and you have Keanu Benton going the total opposite direction. And the hole, literally, your grandmother or mother could have ran through the hole. And it's just like, wow, what the hell is going on with the Steelers? It just looks so bad. If you wanted to get a good idea how bad the Steelers defense is playing, go to Brian Boldinger's YouTube account and just watch him break down the Steelers defense. The reason why I don't like to do that is because it always gets copyrighted. I'm like putting in too much work and, they block it or they do something. So that's why I don't do those sort of things. So that's why I'm recommending Baldinger's, his explanation of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And the magic number for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we all know what 299 means. When you hear the number 299, automatically you go back to being traumatized when the Steelers gave up 299 yards to the Ravens last year in the playoff game rushing. But now the other magical number that's going to go down in Pittsburgh Steeler history is 26. So the Buffalo Bills ran the same running play versus the Pittsburgh Steelers defense 26 times. So those two numbers, I love the number 26 because it reminds me of Rod Woodson, my all-time favorite player. But those are two numbers in Steelers history that when you hear them, you start to like shake. You almost crashed your car. 299, not 300. It was 299. And the number 26. 26 times the Buffalo Bills ran the same play versus the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and it worked every single time. Chris Canty today, he came out today and he had some very harsh comments for Aaron Rodgers. And Chris Canty, I want to know one thing. Do you really watch the games? Do you really follow the Steelers? I doubt it because this is what goes on at ESPN. Nothing can be Coach Tomlin's fault ever. He goes on to blame Aaron Rodgers, and he says Aaron Rodgers is absolutely awful and he's washed up, and he blames the Steelers organization. He blames Art Rooney for the Steelers not trying to sign Matthew Stafford. The Steelers did try to sign Matthew Stafford. Did you ever think that maybe Matthew Stafford wanted to stay in LA with his wife and play in warm weather? Not everybody wants to play in Pittsburgh. Not everybody wants to play for Coach Tomlin. I know you try your best to brainwash the entire United States of America that every player that's ever put on a shoulder pad and helmet wants to play for Coach Tomlin, and that's clearly not true. Even Sam Darnold, the Steelers try to sign Sam Darnold. He went up to Seattle. He didn't want to play for the Steelers. He signed right away with his offensive coordinator. But to blame Art Rooney for the product that we're seeing on the field is absolutely ludicrous. Coach Tomlin, it all starts with Coach Tomlin. Coach Tomlin is the one that makes all decisions for personnel, who plays, who doesn't play, who signs. He has the final say on all decisions. But when things are going right, oh, it's all Coach Tomlin. And now when things are going bad, according to Chris Canty, oh, no, it's Art Rooney's fault. It's the Steelers organization fault. They handicapped Coach Tomlin by signing Aaron Rodgers. If it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers wouldn't have won one game this year. And last week was rough, yeah. But we would not have won one single game this year if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is not the problem. Out of all the players on the team, Aaron Rodgers really gives me the impression that he cares the most. Coming back into the game after getting absolutely demolished by Nick Bosa, he could have easily said, "Oh, I'm out. I'm done. I had enough. I'm bleeding. It's cold." I mean, Patrick Queen comes off the field every game. If he even gets scratched, touched, things ain't going right. Patrick Queen comes out of the game pretty much every game for a series, a couple plays. He might miss a couple games. But Aaron Rodgers is not the problem in Pittsburgh. Do we want a franchise quarterback? Absolutely. Would the Steelers have loved to sign Matthew Stafford? Absolutely. And this whole narrative that the Steelers waited to sign the Steelers organization didn't wait to sign Aaron Rodgers. He had personal problems. He was the last option. They tried to get younger. Again, Sam Darnold didn't want to play for the Steelers. Neither did Matthew Stafford. What can you do? So all that was the best thing that happened to the Steelers in the offseason when it came to quarterbacks, there's not that many to go around. When those other quarterbacks wanted to sign with other teams, the best thing that could have happened to the Steelers was Aaron Rodgers. So it just, I know I shouldn't put too much stock into ESPN because they're unwatchable, they're unbearable, and they have no effing clue what they're talking about. But you just can't come out and make these statements blindly and don't expect some type of rebuttal. I really believe the Steelers just need to do a total reboot. Total just boom, push the button and just start from ground zero. That's what we need to do. As painful as that is, I mean, our offensive line is somewhat in place. And here's another thing that was on my mind all day. Why is Jono Smith getting majority of the snaps for the Steelers at tight end? Obviously, he's not showing up to film study. He's not producing on the field. And part of this is Pat Freiermuth's fault because up until Jono Smith got signed, every time Pat Freiermuth, we leaned on him to make a play. He was dropping the ball a lot. So he brought this upon himself. In the summertime, when Jono Smith signed, I said to myself, I'm never crazy about these one-hit wonders. He's been in the league 9 years, only had one good season with Miami the year before. As soon as he got to Pittsburgh in the hot summer of July and August to practice, right away he's got a hoodie on, a sweater. He didn't want any parts of practicing. And I knew this trade was just going to be a total disaster. I called it from day one. You had Pittsburgh beat writers saying that Jono Smith was out of the trade with Jalen Ramsey and this play, that he's the real prize in the trade. Like, really? The guy who's in the league 9 years had one good year. Boom or bust. I mean, it doesn't get any more boom or bust than that. But why is he getting the most snaps at tight end? I know here's one thing I can guarantee you. Pat Freiermuth, I question Jono Smith's effort. With Pat, I don't question the effort. He might not make the plays. He might have not been playing well. But the effort would be there and the preparation would be there. And I'm always going to take the effort guy, the preparation guy, than the so-called talented guy who just shows up whenever the hell that he wants. And that's Jono Smith. It's been an absolute failure for the Steelers this year. And it's not just because of that one play. He hasn't produced anything. So why is he even out snapping Darnell Washington or Pat? We paid Pat Freiermuth a lot of money. I mean, give Pat a chance again. Because obviously Jono is not the answer, but hey, let's leave him in there. Then I'm looking at the snap count today for the defensive players, and Nick Herbig only gets 30 snaps. He's got the least amount of snaps on the defense. He plays a couple plays. He sets the edge. I think he had 2 tackles for a loss. He forced a fumble. He's the most explosive player out of the outside linebackers. He's the most explosive player in the front seven. But he's on the bench. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, Coach Tomlin. Make it make sense. I don't know why Nick Herbig is not on the field majority of the snaps. Makes no sense. Because every time he's out there, that splash play, remember, Minkah Fitzpatrick got traded because he didn't make the splash play anymore. Splash play. That's all you ever heard, splash play. Well, the guy that makes all the splash plays, Nick Herbig, he's on the bench majority of the game. But hey, it's just me. Hey, let's blame Aaron Rodgers. Let's blame Art Rooney. Let's blame this one. Let's blame that one. Let's not blame Coach Tomlin. Nope, could never be his fault. Steelers injury update. Derrick Harmon won't play versus Ravens. Others questionable. Great. Just what we need. Derrick Harmon can be characterized as being out this week with his knee injury, Tomlin said via the team's YouTube channel. Everyone else could be characterized as questionable. The guys that fall into that category include Patrick Queen with his glute injury. Yep, leave it to Patrick. He's got a butt injury. Shocker. You know he don't want to play this week against Derrick Henry. We saw what happened last playoff game. He didn't want no part of tackling him in the cold. Gee, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Queen suffered his glute injury in the first half, dropping to the ground in pain after a Bills run. He did not return, with Tomlin noting post-game that Queen was unable to. He's always hurt. I've never been a fan of Patrick Queen. I thought it was a bad sign. The amount of money they paid Patrick Queen, you better be playing like Ray Lewis. There's a reason why when his contract was up, the Ravens let him walk right out. Nobody talks about it. When you watch another team run the football against the Steelers, for the most part, all you see is Patrick Queen get sealed off by a guard and not make the play, get turned around, get spun around. It happens all the time. Whatever. I guarantee he doesn't play, or if he gets in, he comes right out. He don't want to tackle Derrick Henry at all. Nick Wright, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a good teammate after Jonah. Nick Wright, shut the F up. You're just an effing clown. Just shut up. Drink your wine. Dude, go hate yourself somewhere else. Like, this dude is just a clown. No, you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to make your teammates accountable. Because after all, the Steelers have such great leadership from their coach, right, Nick Wright? Another clown that's making a couple $1 million a year. Can't stand him either. He's just clueless. They'll make any excuse to bash Aaron Rodgers. Again, if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers do not win one game this entire year. And from the looks of things, he looks like he's the only player that genuinely cares that they're losing. Your 42-year-old quarterback with broken bones in his wrist. Marcus Spears, another guy he's just blaming Aaron Rodgers. It's all the quarterback. Marcus, do you watch the game? You don't think the Steelers defense has the real issue? Who has their hands all over the defense? Who is known for being a defensive mastermind? Huh, Marcus? Have you watched the games, how bad the defense has been, how bad the pass defense has been? Have you watched the games at all? Aaron Rodgers, fine, he's not playing like Aaron Rodgers from the year 2000. But Aaron Rodgers has been one of the few bright spots on the entire team. Now, fine, it's not been outstanding, but it's been decent. A lot of these guys, they'll just say anything to deflect what the real problem is. Coaching and who's making all the decisions, the personnel decisions, the playing decisions, the defensive coordinator. A lot of these so-called analysts will blame everything and the sun, but the actual problem. Then Ian Rappaport, he scolds everyone saying, how dare you ask if Coach Tomlin's going to be fired? That's ludicrous. Those conversations are ludicrous. You're not even allowed to have them. Coach Tomlin is the greatest coach ever, Hall of Fame. If he got fired tomorrow, there'd be 30 teams lined up to sell the franchise to have him. Rex Ryan was saying the same thing. Have you been watching football the last 15 years? Have you saw what's been going on? Have you seen what Mike Tomlin has done since there's no Big Ben, who Coach Tomlin inherited from Bill Cowher? Coach Tomlin has not developed a quarterback in 20 years or been able to draft one. I'm not going to get into the players on the roster during the Super Bowl run. You know how I feel about that. But we're not even allowed to talk about it, huh? It's ludicrous. How dare you? How dare you be frustrated that the Pittsburgh Steelers, are absolutely horrible? How dare you for telling us we're not allowed to talk about it? Or a fan base that's so sick of losing, and not just losing in the worst possible way, where we look completely overmatched and outcoached. How dare you want your team to hire a coach that's capable? How dare you? We don't allow you to do that. ESPN, the national media, they don't allow that. They don't allow you to have your own thoughts. How dare you criticize Coach Tomlin? How dare you bring that up? From everything that Ian Rappaport knows, there is no possible way in hell that Art Rooney and the Steelers organization would ever fire Mike Tomlin. Ever. Interesting. Well, too bad we couldn't have kept Bill Cowher around. If you can't ever fire a coach, we should have kept Cowher. I mean, he still looks like he's young enough to play. But how dare you? How dare you? How dare you insinuate such a thing that maybe the Steelers need a head coaching change? I've been cynical enough. I got my Christmas sweater on. I don't call them ugly Christmas sweaters because I don't think there's anything ugly about them. So I'm going to try to stay positive. And remember, the Christmas sweaters get worn to the second week of January. So if you're asking yourself, why is he wearing that? From Thanksgiving to the second week of January, the beautiful Christmas sweaters stay on. Well, it's a slim chance that the Steelers make the playoffs. I hope we pull this out. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Coach Tomlin goes on a Super Bowl victory run so he can win back the fan base, the fans, retain his job. It's not like I don't want him to be successful, but all signs point to doesn't look good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.